Right, I'm going to make a Christmas ornament based on a Moebius bead. So that's what it's going to look like. That's silver. I'm going to make a gold one now. So here I've prepared a sheet with a simple cane on it to make a surface design. You can just use a plain colour. I've got some here which use plain colours. You can use glitter, clay, whatever floats your boat. Here I've got a sheet of gold clay that I've rolled out onto the thinnest setting. Remember, when you use your pasta machine, you have to start on the thicker setting and work down each notch to get your thinnest setting. Now you can see there I've got a dirty pasta machine, so I'm going to keep the good side to the outside and we're going to hide that underneath with the clay. Now the reason I'm doing a thin layer of the metallic clay and just some ordinary red clay is because with this design you see the edge, and with metallic clays the top surface is nice and shiny and the side-on surface is often is darker and a bit more dull. So that's the only you can do just a thickness of metallic clay if you want, and I think it might give quite a nice slightly darker outline, but I just want to maximize the bling. So you get your sheet of surface texture. I'm just going to lay it over there because it's dirty and ugly and it's going to be hidden. So I'm just going to square that off. Now, when I was making this texture sheet, when I put it through the pasta machine, it made it slightly longer that way. So this time I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees so that it'll make it longer the other way and make the design nice and square. I'm just going to give this a little wipe because it's a bit grubby. So this is just going through on the thicker setting. It's just to make sure that your layers are nicely attached to each other. Let's put a bit of muck on there. Okay, so there's your lovely gold on that side. Now I'm going to cut this into a square. I use just ordinary graph paper, I think. But it's got some nice grids on it, which helps get a square. So I've got my mucky working blade and I've got my nice clean blade. So I'm going to use the clean blade because this is a finished cut. So we just line it up. I'm going to move that across a little bit. I'm just making sure that I'm cutting to the edge of the design so that my finished piece of clay has got pattern on it. Now I'm just going to count how many squares I've got to make this as big as possible. There we go, it's perfect. So I'm doing 10. It's a little bit shy. So I'm cutting 10 squares by 10, which will be 5 centimeters each side. There we go. It's a nice square. So then what you do is you take two opposite corners and you very gently fold them together. Give that a little squeeze. Squeeze that together, and then you take the other two corners oh dear, it's cracking, it's a bit cold in here. I'm just squeezing those together because it's cracking. Because the clay's got to stretch a bit to make the shape. No, it's not going. Look at that. This is not what it's supposed to do. I'll make another one. This is cracked horribly. Now, there's two things I'm guessing. One is I did this surface sheet last night, so it's been sitting overnight. The other idea is it's quite cold in here. Maybe the clay is just not warm enough. So I'm going to do another one just in white and gold, so I can quickly show you what to do. It's not supposed to do that. I've got another sheet, another square I've cut here. It's 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. So there's the nice gold on that side, and it's just white on the other side. So to make your Moebius bead, you take two opposite corners. There, just gently pinch them together. And then you gently fold the other corners together. So the clay's got to stretch a little bit. So you fold it over so that the opposite corners meet. Like that. So give that a nice pinch. I like to pinch the outsides so that sort of the outside colour is covering the inner bit. Do the same on this side. And there. So now choose which way up you want your decoration to go. And then I've got my needle tool just in the middle of that pinch there. Just gently till you can feel the point on the other side. Turn it over and do the same there. Now I think these ones I've just made the drill at the top. I think it'd be really nice if you do another hole at the bottom and dangle a crystal or something there. But I'll just leave it as that for now. So it sits quite nicely on your baking surface. You can bake it just directly on the tile like that, or I use some polyester backing that I put the clay onto, and that just stops it getting a little shiny spot where it sits on the tile. I imagine a sheet of baking parchment on your tile would also stop your shiny spots. So that's it. There's your shape. You bake that according to your clay instructions. They'll be different for each brand that you use. And then next I'll show you how to wire up the little top there. Oh, the other thing is, with this one I had a jar of glittery embossing powder, which I just dipped the tip of it while the clay was before it was cured. I dipped it into the embossing powders. I've I've recently tidied my room, which is why I can't find the embossing powder to actually show you. So the raw clay, the embossing powders will stick to the raw clay, and then when you bake it in the oven it will set the embossing powders. I imagine you could also do the same thing on a cured clay if you just dip that in some glue and then dipped it in regular glitter. Right, so that's your Moebius ornament. Let me do the wiring. This is my Moebius Christmas ornament, which has now been baked in the oven. It's got quite a nice rigid structure. So I'm going to put this piece of wire on. I think it's about 10 centimeters long. So I've got my pliers here. That's just a little bit of masking tape I wrap around the tips. It just stops you scratching the coloured coating off the wire. So fold it to an L shape. That's about 3 or 4 centimeters long. Stick it through there with your short bit sticking up. Fold another right angle. Don't do it too tight because you want a little bit of movement. And then you cross your wires over. Again, so that there's a little gap between the point of your clay and the wire. Just give it a little twist, and then with the long piece of wire just wrap it back down over the point of your polymer. And I just use my pliers just to squeeze that little tip of wire in so that it's not sticking out and scratchy, like so. And then just choose which way you want your loop to go, you know, because your loop can go that way or it can go that way. So bend it again 90 degrees. There's a little bit of a sharp point on there, so I'm just going to trim that with my cutters. Make sure that doesn't ping into your eye. And then I've got my round nose pliers. Just start from the end there so that your little tip has got a nice round start to it. Oh, I've done that too tight. That's actually, the wire's too long. I'm just going to nip that down a bit. There we go. So I would hang a little bit of to hang it on a tree, for example. You get little sort of an S shape, so you can hang it on the branch, or to make a bigger loop, if you need to, I would put some sort of gift ribbon or something, just to make a longer loop to hang on your tree. And there we go, Moebius Christmas ornament.